Township Board meeting. Today is February 11th at 6 o'clock, and if we can all stand for the pledge, please. Joel, you can start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You stay standing.
Thank you, Lord, for this wonderful day. Thank you for the prosperous year we've had. Bless this township, and bless the people. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay. Can we have roll call, please?
Yes. Jacob Newby.
Yeah, here.
Linda Garrett. Here. Lori Fisher. Here. Eric.
Here.
Joel. Here. Bennett's present. Supervisor Pearson.
Here.
All present.
All accounted for. Okay. Any announcements? No. Petitions? No. Department reports available in my office. You just have to contact me or my deputy supervisor. Order of business, approval of the agenda.
I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda and add budget amendments for the building department, both in revenue and expenditure, due to time constraint. So that'll be number 7, budget amendment.
Any discussion on that? Not hearing any. I think we'll need roll call on that.
We'll need a
Did we have a
second.
second?
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call on that, please.
Yes. Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
Joel King.
Aye.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. We'll go on the consent agenda.
Yes, before the board is the January 14th minutes. Bills is paid for January 2019. Park ranger appointment, Greg Katowski, through 2/28/22. Approve, renew the 219 MMRMA insurance, and that's for liability. Budget amendment, $2,500 from the cemetery account to the border review.
I'll make a motion to move the consent agenda as stated.
Second.
I have a question.
Go right ahead.
I'm wondering why the budget amendment for the border review is on the consent agenda and the other budget amendment is added onto the agenda.
I believe the rules state that in order to have something on the consent agenda, it has to be a certain days in advance. It's either 5 or 7, and I did not notice this budget amendment until after the fact.
Oh.
So that's the only reason why they're split up in that fashion.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Is there a motion in the works at all?
There was a motion and a second?
We already had it? Okay, can we have a roll call on that, please?
Yes. Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Joel King.
Aye.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, that passes. Move on to item number 2. And this is the public hearings. One is for truth and taxation, the other one is for the 2019-20 budget hearing. This is where we listen and the board doesn't talk. This is where we listen to the citizens, okay? The public hearing, truth and taxation. I'm going to open up the first one here. We'll count it as 6:03. And just let you know that the township rate shall not exceed the following, and the general operating mills are, with the Headley rollback, is 1.0331. The fire operating is 2.250. The fire capital is 0.7358. The police millage is 3.4874, and total millage is 7.5063. This is where we listen. If anybody has anything that they'd like to say about the millage rates, please come forward and speak. The truth and taxation, if anybody has anything they'd like to say, please come forward. Not hearing anyone, I'd like to close the meeting. We'll say it's 6:05. There's no action required here by the board. Now we'll hold a public hearing on the proposed 2020 budget. This is where we listen to your comments about the budget. If anybody in the public would like to speak about the budget, this is your time. We'll open this meeting up, we'll say at 6:06. If anybody would like to come forward, this is concerning the budget. Not hearing anybody. I'd like to close the budget hearing at 6:07. And we'll consider the budget later in the agenda, and we'll be adopting it in March. Okay, we'll go on to item number 3, which is the road chloride agreement. The contractor road maintenance submitted that they would like to renew the agreement at the same rate as last year. The agreement is the same and the rates are the same. This saves us money when we get the renewal because there's no increase. First of all, I like this. We've had a great job with road maintenance for Addison Township roads. I'd like to ask if number 1, if there'd be a motion to waive the purchasing ordinance, as there's no benefit to go out because the other options we have are higher.
I move to waive the purchasing ordinance as there is no benefit to seek bids.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Anybody have any comments they'd like to add? Not hearing any, could I have roll call on that, please?
Joe King. Eric Sant.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Linda Garrick.
Yes.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, okay, that passes. Now, the second part, is there a motion to approve the 2019 agreement and the rates submitted?
I'd like to accept the agreement for the 2019 from road maintenance, including the letter that's stating that she's renewing the bid.
I'll support.
Do you have any comments? Not hearing any, can we have roll call on that, please?
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Joe King. Linda Garrick.
Yes.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, that was quick. Didn't even get to speak, Pat. Sorry.
He just broke her heart.
Now we'll move on to the spring cleanup. Well, as you know, last year we had some real issues in finding a company that would even do the spring cleanup because everybody kind of bailed on spring cleanups. We did have the one company that did Sunrise Management who did come to the rescue, and they actually saved us money, which we were very grateful. They have said that they will come back again. The price is a little bit higher because there are higher dumping fees now with the dumps and everything, but it's still reasonable. And like I said, we haven't found anybody else. So whatever the board's pleasure is, I would like to ask the board to waive the purchasing ordinance on this one, as there's no benefit, because like I said, we're having a very difficult time. We almost had to cancel the spring cleanup last year until this company came in at the last minute and kind of saved us. Does anybody have any comments?
I would like to make one comment. I was hoping to tie the contractor in for 3 to 5 years. He did not get back with me. He only gave us a 1-year bid. So the yellow highlighted section will be removed from the agreement. That will be the only thing that's going to be removed. This is for 1 year only, 2019.
And I was confused about that because it had May 12th instead of May 11th.
Yeah, we're trying, but
Anybody have any comments?
Approximately how many people utilize this service?
Well, I've been there every time we've had it, and
Right.
I've worked the whole day, so I would have to say, you know, we go from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and it's, I mean, we fill every single truck we have. And we fill, We filled the last 2 dumpsters full of metal, which I think we did get a small rebate for the steel and the tires. I would have to say that our township, I can remember many years ago where we had garbage everywhere in this township. Everybody would come out here and dump their garbage. But if you look around this township now, if you see a couch, it's usually picked up the very next day and you don't see anymore, because if I hear about it, even I go out with the building official and we pick it up. But we don't have debris anymore in this township. So, I mean, it's whatever anybody's pleasure is on this, but I think it's well spent. I think over the years, we've pretty much cleaned up the garbage that's been on the road, the old car tops,
Right, and I know you
couches.
do a great job, and I know it's a big effort, before the spring cleanup. Bruce is always driving around, and there's always a bunch of stuff over by the fence. I was just wondering how many residents actually utilize it.
Well, I mean, I've been doing it for, the last 10 years.
But it's steady,
Yeah, and I'd have to say it's pretty close to the same as what we had even 10 years ago. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has any comments.
I think there's a line at least 10 people long all day long.
Yeah, I was wondering about the same thing, because when we started, I'm basing it on myself. I had like 3-4 loads that I brought. I thought maybe after 10 years, that it would kind of decrease. I was kind of wondering about the numbers too.
There are some years where it decreases.
Yeah,
Most years.
so, I mean, there's only so much junk, after a while, we clean it up really good. And if that was the case, something I would propose, we would do it every other year, if it was going down. But if we agree that it's a steady day and we still get quite a bit, it's the right thing to do.
There was one year that I was actually going to suggest that we cancel it. Then the following year, I thought, okay, I'm going to gauge this. I'm going to wait until the following year, and I'm going to try to gauge it. The following year, we had record capacity. We filled so many trucks that it was over what we've ever done in the past. So it's really hard to gauge. I think people, by having this spring cleanup, they go roadside. I try to encourage people to go to their roadside and pick up. Bruce has people picking up. I think it shows that we take pride in our township by having this event, and anybody is welcome to volunteer to count those cars, because I would love to have that number too, but it's impossible to be everywhere every second during that cleanup. So I cannot give you a definitive amount.
I agree with all that. And then now, on the other hand, saying that we still have a steady flow of junk coming in, a multi-year agreement would be a good thing.
You can only ask so much from these people, and if they're not willing to give it to you, you can't force them. Last year, I really thought there will not be any more spring cleanups. There was not a company willing to do it. I finally begged a lady. She gave me a quote, and I thanked her up and down. But the quote was so much higher than this person. We, of course, went with him at the last minute, and I did have to apologize to her, but it was almost done last year. So it might end on its own accord, but I would rather have it end on its own accord than for us to say, no, we're not going to do this anymore.
Oh, I agree with you. In a way, that's what I was saying, that it would, kind of work its way out, when all the junk is gone, so to speak, but.
Somehow it just keeps
we'll
coming.
We'll keep
The only thing I saw that got reduced was the amount of donuts we got the last
Yeah, I know.
time.
They're
They
not
brought
feeding.
donuts.
This
This
one's not,
guy didn't
yeah.
bring us any donuts, so I noticed that.
Okay.
Little kid
Yeah, that's
did.
all I got, yeah.
And the shredder service has picked up as well.
I would suggest that maybe this time that we count and we see how many, but I think that.
Who's going to count? You're running around, I'm running around. Who's going to count? All righty. So I'd like to make
a
a,
volunteer,
I'd like
Jacob.
to make,
Oh, I'll volunteer. Yeah.
Jacob said he'll count.
Yeah.
You can take breaks at your house, because you're just.
Yeah,
you're
it's
at the
true,
next
yeah.
corner. You got-
but then if he goes and takes a break, he's going to miss a car. I mean, it's impossible to have an accurate count.
Well,
And the
then-
guys that are
You
IDing,
can't
they
take a
can't.
break, okay?
Don't they have one of
Okay,
those
thanks,
wires with
Jacob.
a box,
Thank you.
and when they drive
I-
over, you can...
I would say, let's see how it works this time, and, I mean, if that's everybody's pleasure, but I think it is a valuable thing, because I can remember, we had boats, we had, you name it, mattresses, everything, all over this township, and, I mean, if you drive around now, it's very rare that you see something, and if you do, somebody reports it to us right away, so.
This is all
good
volunteer though,
thing.
Jacob, you don't have to do that.
No, I'll do it,
You
yeah.
don't have to do that, it's volunteer.
This is
I'd like to
some-
make a motion to waive the purchasing ordinance as there's no benefit, as we can't, it seems like we can't find contractors.
I'll second.
May I also comment? And I know that if you don't do it every year, the off year, if you want to do it every other year, all of a sudden, these people are saving their junk for the spring cleanup. And if that don't happen, it's going to wind up on the side of the road. I've
Correct,
seen it.
and that's what I'm afraid of too, is that the garbage is just gonna go on the roadside,
They're
which
gonna
is
get
what
it out
we're
of their
trying to
backyard.
clean.
Yeah.
Yes,
The weather plays a factor in too.
yeah, that's
It's a
true.
rainy
That's
day.
true,
Go
if it's a
right
rainy
ahead
day.
there, Charlie, since everybody's talking, go right ahead.
Well, Supervisor Bruce, we do have the community service people coming that day to help the residents unload their trash.
Very good then, and then we'll use them to go around and pick up, and I always have the deputies go around, you know, a couple of weeks ahead of time, make a list of all the junk, and we'll use them. But, we did have a motion and a second to waive the ordinance.
Right.
First of all, if we have no comments on that part, let's take a roll call on that.
Jacob Newby,
Yes.
Lori Fisher,
Yes.
Joe King. Linda Garrick.
Yes.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, now let's go to the part about, do we want to do this?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the independent contractor agreement for 2019 for the Township of Addison spring cleanup with the rates as submitted.
$4,696.55. Is that correct?
Pardon?
The rate.
He submitted the rate, so my motion said it as the rates were submitted. We don't come up with a grand total because we serve everybody in line up until 1 o'clock.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we do have a motion and a second. Does anybody else have any comments?
Well, I
As far
just
as
had something
contract.
unrelated to all this, so maybe I'm out of line, but I have a pet peeve. Driving down the dirt roads, I see old farm fences that have been there 100 years with barbed wire, and it's growing into all the trees, and it's all along the roads. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, but it sure would be nice if we could come up with a way to get that stuff thrown into that. Because there's no reason. It's not fencing anymore. It's just dangerous. And it's an eyesore. And it's,
Well, the only problem we got with that is it's on private property.
Yeah.
I know, but it would be nice if somebody had some kind of incentive to cut that stuff down and get rid of it. Because it's just growing into trees and shrubs and, I don't know.
It's a good idea, but.
I don't know how it could work. If anybody has any thoughts and,
Well, I did it the first year, because I had fence on my frontage where I live. And, yeah, I used my tractor to just hook on one end, and I pulled posts and all the wire out, and snipped all the wire, and curled it up as much as I could, and I brought it here for the iron guy.
yeah, I mean, if there was some way that we could inspire people to do that, or anybody has any thoughts,
Yeah.
I just see it all the time, and I wonder how can we get rid of it?
Well, in 100 years, it might be rusted away.
Oh, yeah, this probably was original stuff. that I-
Antiques.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Okay, so, do we have a motion and a second?
I
on
made a
this?
motion. Did you second? Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, is there any other comments on this? Okay, we have roll call on this, please.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
Linda Garrick.
Yes.
Joe King. Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and so that passes. Okay, now we're on to the budget work session. Well, let's start with page 1, and we'll just go through this, and speak up if you have anything on there. On page 1, does anybody have anything they'd like to talk about? Not hearing any, we'll go on to page 2. Let's move on to page 3. Let's move on to page 4.
So, on page 4, if I may speak, this budget amendment that we're doing for the 2018-19, will that be reflected in the 2019-20?
The budget amendment has yet to be taken, as it had to be approved, so the
Right.
next report that you get, you're going to see that budget amendment. So tell me more.
I guess I know it's going to be changed in the 2018-19. I'm just wondering in the 2019-20, I'm not seeing any changes. So,
You're saying for the building department?
yeah, I know we have,
We did increase him. It's kind of guessing though, so we increased him to 52,000. The previous year, we budgeted 40. So it just depends how the economy is going, whether we're going to have to come back and increase him even more again next year. I don't know. I mean, if we want to increase him now, we're going to have to go back and increase the revenue as well right now.
Well, the last I heard, that we are getting new homes even after the first of the year. They have started to come in still. I don't know how long that'll last, depending on the economy, so it's kind of a moving target, no matter how you look at it. Because last year we had a record year as far as home builds. This year we're waiting to see if it's going to come to the same again or start slowing down because of the economy. So I don't know how you can gauge it.
I see them popping up everywhere.
That's an expense in that particular one, that the expense goes up along with the revenue, so.
I don't know if we were going to address it in advance in the 2019-20.
We did increase. I just
Yeah.
don't know how much to increase.
I don't know
it.
if it'll be the same as this year. This year was a record year, and the income came in, but so did the costs going out, so we might have to amend it next year if that's the same case, but, like you said, the money comes in.
Right, so this is actually a situation where it's a good thing.
No, I know. I was just wondering if we were going to reflect that in the next one.
Okay, and we'll move on to page 5. Okay, move on to page 6. This is the fire. This is the first time we've looked at the fire budget. So I think everybody has the fire budget in their package, right?
Yeah.
Okay, does everybody have this, the fire budget?
Yeah.
Why don't we just go through that page by page, and if they do have a question, the chief's right here, so we can ask him. On page 1 of the fire budget, anybody have any questions? Pretty self-explanatory.
How are you getting such good interest?
Treasurer.
We are very fortunate in Oakland County that we have a county investment pool available to us. So whenever there's extra money, I move that into that fund, and they're doing a really excellent job.
Yeah, I guess so. That's pretty impressive.
What's the interest rate?
That one bounces around, it had been actually up over 2%. We also use Flagstar for most of our banking, and they have been paying really, really well.
Okay, let's go on to page 2. We'll go on to page 3. Chief does such a nice job. It's all in color. It's pretty nice, not like ours.
I can put yours
Go
in
for
color
it.
if you'd like.
My copy's a little fuzzy.
He must have a better copying machine than we do.
Yeah, Jake got a nice one. I didn't.
Wow.
Look at mine.
Just
Can't
to-
even read it.
As to who you appeal to, I guess.
I guess some people just
Oh.
get better copies than others.
Okay, on page 3, any questions? If not, then we'll go to page 5, cost recovery. That's pretty self-explanatory. On to page 6. Anything you want to add, Chief? Nothing? You're good. Okay, we're moving right along then. Okay, we're on to page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. That's pretty self-explanatory. Page 11. Health insurance, that's pretty self-explanatory. What are we on page 12 now? Page 13. And now we're on the last page. Anybody have any questions on the last page? We've gone through. Does anybody have any questions of the chief that they'd like answered while he's here?
How much do new engines run?
A new engine is about $500,000, unfortunately.
Okay, if there's no questions, then let's go back to ours. Now we're on to
10.
page 7.
10.
Well, we already did the police, oh, the fire, yeah, we're done with that. Okay, we're on to page 10. And the police, we've already gone through. Anybody have any questions of Commander while he's here?
Was it you that slipped and fell on Conklin Road 2 weeks ago?
It was not. Thankfully.
Our commander's sure-footed. We don't have that problem. That must have been the Orient
hear
one,
that,
right?
so I-
Also been
Okay.
the lieutenant from Oregon. No, I'm not sure who it was. I hope they're okay.
Threw his tailbone pretty good.
Okay, we're on to page 11 then. That's pretty much the police budget. And 12 was the Parks and Recreation. We do have money there for Parks and Recreation. And we'll go on to page 13. And then we've already covered the fire department cost recovery on page 14.
And why is the revenues not in the 2019-20? It's like a blank spot there.
Where you at, Linda?
On page 13, under net revenue appropriations, Fund 206, the last line.
Page 13, where is it?
Just above where it says 744.76 in the corner. Isn't there usually something in there?
No, I'm not seeing where you're at.
Oh,
Page
you're saying
13?
right
It's
above,
on the bottom.
right above 744,
Yeah, just
Net
below.
the
revenue.
very bottom, right there. Right there.
Just wonder why that was blank.
For the 1920 requested?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm going back to the other one.
Yeah, I think it's
I think that's some-
because it's requested. I
No,
guess-
that's the same in all of them. It's a good question.
It should be 55, right?
Yes.
That's my question.
Yes, because it's balanced. So I'll have to check on that. I have not an explanation of why I didn't print that.
Well, it says net of revenue, so it should be 0 because it's 55 in revenues and 55 in expenditures. So let's see, if we go back to the police, there says a $2,000 net revenue. So you see the $2,000 if you go back to 10 and
Yes,
11.
yeah.
So it's because it's balanced for park, so it's 0.
And the other one's balanced too.
I know, the other ones do.
Police is 2,000.
Oh, I see down at the, well,
I'll double check that, Linda. I know
all
what,
right,
I know
was
what you're
just curious. I
saying.
hate seeing blank spots. It always makes me wonder if I'm missing something.
Okay, we'll have that checked. Anybody have any other questions on it? Okay,
So on 101 though, it's the same.
Yeah, I know, I saw it. I was like, should it be a 0 then? Or?
he just doesn't like to see blank spaces.
I think so
Yes.
too, but I think you're gonna see them because they're totally balanced. That could be why.
No, then it should be 0, right?
You call the S and A up and tell them you want a 0 then.
Sorry, I don't mean to be difficult. I just am reading
I'm
this.
teasing with you, but I think that is it, is because they balance.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move on number 6, wage resolution for the fire department. The fire department proposed wages are before you. Some rates were not changed, others changed at the 5%. And the fire chief's wages are brought up to an average standard of the surrounding communities. This comes, I've had contact and I've sat down with the fire board and we've gone through all the different scenarios of all the other departments. We brought the fire chief's agreement also up to date. Anybody have any questions on this?
How come we waited so long? I thought he was getting raises all along.
He's been
Well,
getting
he
really
has
flat
been.
raises.
Yeah.
There comes a time when the firemen are making sometimes more than the commander. That happens in the sheriff's department over the years, I've seen it. And there comes a time when you have to adjust a little bit so that the person who's running the show is at least equal, if not more, than what his own men are making. So, I mean, if you look at the wages of the men who are working all the different hours, a lot of times they make more than what the person who's in charge. So sometimes you have to make the adjustments so that, and this is one of those cases, and I'll just say from experience, that's happened in the sheriff's office several times, and they have to make adjustments so that the sergeants or the command officers make a little bit more, because unfortunately there are different unions and different scenarios. But anyways, if you look at the wage comparisons here, it just brings them up to the very bottom of the other communities. He's at the very bottom edge. So if anybody has anything they'd like to add, please go right ahead.
Is this where we move the resolution for the fire department?
If you move the resolution, it's automatically in there as well as the updated to the agreement.
I would make that motion.
I'll support.
So we have a motion, and we have support. Any final comments? Not hearing any. Can I have roll call now, please?
Joe King. Linda Garrick.
Yes.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, resolution is so moved. Well, now we're on to item number 7, is a budget amendment. And as you notice, we got closer to the end of the year, and this is not unusual that things change. The building department has been extremely busy. We brought in a lot more money because of the inspections and all the fees. But then again, we've also had to do more inspections and more fees, so our revenue increased by $42,000, and our expenditures increased by $27,800. So the new numbers are out of 101, 000, 504, 000, we're gonna move them up to 90,000. And 101, 380, 727, 2,000. 101, 380, 822 to 61,000. And 101, 380, 860 to 5,000. And 101, 380, 958 to 5,000. Like I said, though, we're bringing in the revenue, and this is just adjusting that we didn't expect to bring that much in, but of course, we had to spend that much also for inspections. Anybody have any comments? Anybody have a motion?
I would make a motion to amend the budget to increase revenue by 42,000 and expenditures by 27,800. And the amended numbers, would you prefer I read them all, or are they as stated on this?
As I read them.
That's my motion.
I'll support.
Anybody have any other comments? This is actually a good thing. It's not a bad thing. They brought more in, so. If there's no other comments, can we have roll call, please?
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Joel King.
Aye.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Eric Sant.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and that passes. Okay. We'll go on to public forum. Anybody in the public has anything they'd step up and talk about? We're here to listen if anybody has anything. If anybody in the public has anything to state, please come forward. Not hearing any. Addison Township Board reports. Do you have any board members on other boards that have anything to report? Nobody?
Well, we're busy on the CBA. We have
Okay.
cases.
Okay, then we'll move on to legal reports. We don't have any, do we? Nope. Communications, do we
No.
have any? No communications. Supervisors report. I just have a couple things. I'm in contact with Mike Polchesko from DTE. He is going to spend a lot of money in the corridor of the treasurer, right there. Gonna clear all your trees and all your lines and clean up the whole area at Lake George, Oakwood area, down to Noble, and all the way over into Oxford.
That's because they fixed all of the rest of the township's wiring.
This is the last section that they need to work on.
My power was out for most of the day. When was that? Friday? Yeah, Friday. And everyone around me, so, from Boardman
Well, that's
south.
the only one I heard about. Did it last less than a day?
Yes, it was
Okay.
quick. We were the only ones, so hopefully they could get around to us.
Maybe the check didn't clear. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, they're gonna do that whole northwest section. That's one area that I told them we had extensive problems on a constant basis. So they are going to do that. Also, NODA, which is, our North Oakland Transportation Authority, put a bid on a building on Gillespie. It's a 20,000 square foot building, and they accepted the bid. We were being not thrown out, but we were being evicted from the building we have in Lake Orion at the old school bus garage because they passed a millage, and they're gonna knock that building down and put a new school up there. So we had to find a place, and we have moved from spot to spot to spot, and every time we move, it costs us money. This particular thing just happened to come up, and they just approved our bid, which was on Saturday. So it's a 20,000 square foot building. I went there and I took our inspector. We took Bill Dunn, Chris Barnett from Orion and from Oxford, and we also took a fire chief from Oxford. And now we have 60 days, and I have some people checking the roof, make sure that everything's good. And if everything works well, we'll have a new home for NODA, and we won't have to move again. And this facility allows us to park all of the vehicles inside so that they'll start. And it's actually divided into two sections, 10,000 square feet with secure fire doors and a whole office on one end, and 10,000 square feet with fire doors and office on the other end. We only need 10,000 of it, so they believe already have people that they say prospective rent will be $70,000 a year that we can put into NODA. And so we might be staying there for free if everything works out right. So anyways, it was a good deal. We had a special meeting and we authorized it. Now it's just a matter of all the stuff. Anyways, that's all I had to. I do have one other thing. I'm getting an awful lot of calls on garbage trucks not picking up the garbage in Addison Township. And this isn't just one service, it's a lot of services and people. I just got notice that one company no longer is coming into our township. So the people are calling us and asking us if we have a solution. Do we know anybody who will pick? Well, we don't recommend anybody because it's the individual's choice. But someday in the future, somebody may want to look at one garbage source so that we have everybody's garbage picked up on one day instead of 6 different trucks on 6 different days, and some of them not picking up, because we have people calling them their garbage has been out there for 3 weeks. So,
Would you then tax the people, and they'd have to pay a charge for that particular pickup?
I would say that would be the best way to do it, because then it would go on your taxes, and then it's also a write-off, but that would be,
Generally, it's substantially cheaper to do it that way because they're only sending the township one bill instead of having to bill each individual.
Make a comment on that. I have a place up in Fort Austin. I never use the garbage pickup. They won't even come down our road. And I'm still getting charged for it. Would that be, could you opt out of it if you have your own garbage?
well,
Source.
I don't know. I was just
That's a
expounding, there's,
That should be remembered and asked
yeah.
if somebody could opt out of it, if they have their own particular.
Well, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out, like I
Yeah.
said, because we can't have garbage sitting out on the roads for
No.
3 weeks. The animals get into it, everything, and I'm just saying that somebody might want to take that up at a later time, but for now, it was just part of my supervisor's report, because to be honest with you, the last time I checked, yes, everybody would save money on it, but, and we would have recycling probably, but that's something that somebody might want to discuss at a later time. Other than that, do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
And we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and we're adjourned. March 18th is the next scheduled meeting.